tonight.
People were mocking me, they were laughing on the social media. How can you use bottles to irrigate? Now, 16 months afterwards, and everything we started has matured.
News Hour, weekdays at 8 p.m. on UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda.
Are you in need of a news package that is thorough and satisfying? A news package free of distortion? Then your uncertain moments are over. News Hour now brings you comprehensive news facts, updates, and analysis with all loose ends tied. News Hour, a production of Current Affairs section of UBC. Get it and digest it every weekday, 8 to 9 p.m. across all UBC radio networks.
Good evening and welcome to this edition of News Hour tonight. It is the 8th of March 2023. This is Alex Wandeva with News Hour and my producer is Henry Waguma. Now, let's look at what is coming up in this edition. Uganda today joined the rest of the world to celebrate the International Women's Day, but some women don't seem excited about the day, saying it is more of high-profile public officers.
Women on ground are surely left out, and we also don't have enough funds to try to explain to them what is really happening.
A UBC Information Technology Officer, Stella Nekasa, says that there is a big gap between male and female engineers.
There is that challenge where people underlook women in IT because they think it's a men's job, it's a male world to do all the technology.
We also have an exclusive interview with a Women's Day medalist, Immaculate Namata, about her achievements.
I feel special, I feel wonderful, I feel so good, you can't imagine.
Those and many other stories in this edition of News Hour tonight. But coming on first, the latest UBC news with Fahim Muyingo.
Thank you, Alex. Very good evening once again, and welcome to this edition of UBC News. President Yoweri Museveni says poverty is the leading cause of problems in families as Uganda joins the world to mark Women's Day. Entebbe Expressway was briefly closed this morning due to a bomb scare. 13 men have been executed in Somalia's semi-autonomous region of Puntland, and protesters have clashed with police in Georgia after Parliament backed a controversial draft law which limits press freedom. I'm Fahim Muyingo with the news in detail. President Museveni has said that many families would avoid problems if they go out of poverty. Speaking at the National Women's Day celebrations in Chiruhura district, Mr. Museveni said that poverty elimination at household level is a good base for solving many other problems in families. He said that although there are greedy men who abandon their wives and children after getting rich, majority of rich people have stable families. He urged Ugandans to stop the excuses and work to get out of poverty. Given an example of the people in the cattle corridor who got out of poverty through the dairy industry guided by the NRM, Mr. Museveni said that other regions can use agriculture to get out of poverty. He appealed to the people in the cattle corridor to stop fragmenting wealth when the owner dies. Speaking at the same occasion, the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Amongi, said NITA Uganda has streamlined a mission focused on the use of ICT and has been distributing computers in secondary schools. The minister said this will improve the digital advancement in schools, and she also said that the National Council for Higher Education and Makerere University have introduced several programs, 40% of which are reserved for girls. The day was marked under the theme Equal Opportunities in Education, Science and Technology for Innovation, and Gender Equal Future. Meanwhile, legislators have urged government to increase investment for innovations and technology change through budget allocation to enhance access for women to opportunities in ICT. The Vice Chairperson of Uganda Women Parliamentary Association, UOPA, Brenda Nabukenya, says the Women's Day theme, Equal Opportunities in Education, Science and Technology for Innovation and a Gender Equal Future, emphasizes the need for investment to specifically promote women and girls' participation in science, technology, engineering and mathematics, STEM, and information communications technologies, ICTs, as a precursor to their engagement in the digital technologies. Nabakenya stressed the need for government to enhance salary remuneration for scientists to make such careers attractive for the young girls to take up. UOPA highlighted mindset change in schools through career guidance and the importance of having more women and girls involved in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And then from that story, police in Wandegeya have arrested at least 10 women for participating in unlawful assembly and inciting violence. The suspects were arrested from Kalere Zone, Mulago 3 Parish, Kampe Division in Kampala District. They were carrying placards written "Stop Torture," "Free My Husband," and "We Want Equality for Miss Olivia Lutaya," among others. The group of women were chanting "Free Our Husbands," "It's meaningless to celebrate International Women's Day" amid these challenges. Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson Patrick Onyango says the suspects allegedly planned for the demonstration from National Unity Platform offices at Makerere Kavule, then moved one by one and assembled at Zakaria Plaza, and they marched up to Kalere Market. He identified the suspects as Chione Stella, Nachuku Alin, Namatovu Mili, Nancha Fiona, Selonga Rukia, Burunji Jackie, Nantume Alin, Sylvia Ramuto Apia Flavia, and Nyanzi Elizabeth. Onyango said that they remain detained at Wandegeya Police Station as investigations continue. Now, police's bomb squad briefly closed Entebbe Expressway that connects the capital Kampala to the country's main airport after a security scare. A bomb squad was deployed to conduct an investigation along the Entebbe Expressway at Kajansi at around 8 a.m. after residents spotted a suspicious object on the road. The deputy spokesperson for Kampala Metropolitan Police, Luke Owesigire, said the police tactical team evacuated the item after about 30 minutes, which was then taken to the forensics department for analysis. Motorists were diverted to the old road that runs near the expressway until investigations ended and normal traffic flow was restored. Owesigire thanked the public for their vigilance and reporting to authorities, assuring them of safety and security from the law enforcement agency. The Chinese-funded expressway was opened in 2018 and is the first ever toll road in the country. As Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate International Women's Day, female employees at the Coca-Cola Beverages Uganda (CCBU) have received support in form of a fully furnished nursing area where they will be able to pump and restore breast milk for their babies. The facility was unveiled at the CCBU plant in Namavi. The 3-room spectacularly decked space, which is tucked behind the company offices, is equipped with a refrigerator for breast milk storage, a cold pack to transport milk home safely, comfortable chairs, and a washing area to keep everything sanitary. Speaking at the official opening of the nursing area, former Ethics and Integrity Minister, as well as women's rights activist Honorable Miriam Atembi, praised the beverage company for the initiative. She noted that a facility like this would go a long way in helping lactating mothers to enhance their performance. Matembe, on the other hand, called upon other companies in Uganda, including government ministries, departments, and agencies, to borrow a leaf from CCBU. Catherine Gita, the Director of People and Culture at CCBU, said the facility would ensure that employees can balance their work and family responsibilities. Iris Chiwika, the Learning and Development Specialist at CCBU, said over 200 female workers at Namavi factory were very excited about the nursing facility. And now into our foreign news. Protesters have clashed with police in Georgia's capital, Tbilisi, after Parliament backed a controversial draft law which critiques cell limits press freedom and suppresses civil society. Riot police used water cannon and pepper spray to disperse the crowds outside the Parliament building. Some protesters were seen falling on the ground and coughing, while others waved EU and Georgian flags. The government said 50 police officers were hurt and police gears were also damaged. Police arrested 66 people, including one of Georgia's opposition leaders, Zurab Yiparidis, who was reportedly beaten. There has been widespread international condemnation of the bill, and it would require non-governmental and media organizations that received more than 20% of their funding from abroad to declare themselves as foreign agents or face hefty fines and possible imprisonment. Further protests outside Parliament have been called for Wednesday. Fighting is continuing between the Democratic Republic of Congo's army and M23 rebels in violation of Tuesday's ceasefire. Local media said there were clashes on several fronts in the eastern province of North Kivu. The rebels were reported to have seized a number of villages, including Karuba, which is around 30 kilometers from the regional capital, Goma. The army has accused M23 of shelling UN peacekeepers and Burundian soldiers from an East African force recently deployed in an effort to stop the violence. The rebels say they want a peaceful solution, but have the right to defend themselves if attacked. And now a crowdfunding campaign backed by Ethiopian comedian Eshetu Melesi has laid more than $1.6 million raised within 48 hours for a charity that plans to build what it describes as the first nursing home facility for homeless people in the country. The money has come from 15,200 donations, with the highest amount being $10,000. The GoFundMe campaign is aimed at helping the charity Macedonia make a difference in the lives of countless elderly and mentally challenged people who live under their circumstances on the streets. Help us build home for the homeless, it says. The campaign also helped the charity raise donations from local banks, though that amount is unclear. Eshetu is a young stand-up comedian and TV host in Ethiopia, and he has become popular in recent years for a show that features talented children. Such campaigns rely heavily on donations from the huge number of Ethiopians in the diaspora, especially in North America and Europe, and they appear to have poured their hearts out. And now, 13 men have been executed in Somalia's semi-autonomous region of Puntland. 9 of them were accused of belonging to the militant Islamist groups Al-Shabaab and Islamic State. 6 were former soldiers convicted of murder, and they were executed by firing squad in the northern cities of Garowe, Bosaso, and Galkayo. Human rights groups say executions are on the rise in Somalia. Most of those put to death are suspected Islamist militants, rapists, and members of the security forces. Now, before we end our news, let's have a quick recap of our top stories. President Yoweri Museveni says poverty is the leading cause of problems in families in Uganda, as the rest of the world joined to mark International Women's Day. Entebbe Expressway was briefly closed this morning due to a bomb scare. 13 men have been executed in Somalia's semi-autonomous region of Puntland, and protesters have clashed with police in Georgia after Parliament backed a controversial draft law which limits press freedom. Thank you so much. Let's now cross back to News Hour with Alex Wandeva.
Thank you, Fahim, and we shall take a break. When we return, more stories in News Hour.